Yeah, sure. I'm Roger Schmidt. I'm the director of the Sitka Fine Arts Camp in Sitka, Alaska. And this is my 19th year doing this. I'm from Sitka. I grew up here. As a kid, I fell in love with music and the arts. And when I traveled, lived in other places for about maybe 15 years before I came back to Sitka. And I think what I was really struck by is that Sitka is really beautiful. It has so much to offer people, and kids for me are the most important thing because they're the future and they still believe that anything's possible. I think adults, we just kind of keep shrinking that idea in our minds. And so I love feeling like my job is to keep possibility alive and as broad as possible as long as we can with people, so that kids will stay believing that things are possible. In 2011, this really weird thing happened, which is I was talking to some friends and they said, we should get together and meet one of the board members for the former college that had closed in 2007 about restoring this building that we're sitting in right now. And I was like, I'm not interested. Already dealt with some buildings. I said the only reason I'd be interested in, and I just made this funny comment, I said the only thing I'd be interested in is if they just gave us the whole goddamn campus. Eating my words later, right? So then we go and see this fellow, and he says, what I think we should do is give you the whole goddamn campus. So it wasn't quite that simple, but about a half year later, we were given a set of keys and 20 buildings and 20 acres, and probably about people say a $50 million deferred maintenance budget, and that started this kind of miracle, which has been in first 4 years we had over 1,000 volunteers put in, over 40,000 volunteer hours. The place was just a disaster, and everybody pitched in. In Sitka. Friends from all over the country came and helped out, and I think one of the things we learned is people are often thinking that unless you have money, you can't do something. And, it was great. Our budget was zero. So when you say, like, what's your budget? Zero, then everybody starts chipping in and they start helping. And you realize that it's not really money that's the obstacle for community success, but it's community, that everybody brings resources in. And there's actually the intelligence of people. It was the sweat equity of people. And it was their passion that made the difference. I read the paper on Salmon Nation, and the idea of watersheds really resonate for me. My other passion is kayaking and being on the water and being in the wilderness, and so everything about Sitka for me is about the wilderness. We live with ravens. Ravens are they're just the most extraordinary animal in Sitka, and no offense to other animals. And so I think it's a wonderful analogy, and I think that I feel like it's really bad old ideas that are really outdated that are actually blocking fantastic ideas and fantastic progress from being made. I feel like the earth, and I feel like our community, and I feel like people are ready for another way, and there's lots of things that work, but these things that work aren't getting voiced, or they're getting squashed down by really old and really bad ideas. It feels to me like, I think you said it really well, there's another story that needs to be told.